All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you view and listen to this. I want to welcome you guys to the Recruiting Academy podcast. We're back. I'm your host, Coach Holman, joined by the beloved co-host, Coach Hughes. Coach Hughes, man, the people love the nugget of the day. So what do you got for us today, Doc?
I was reading an article. Well, actually, I saw it on TV today too. Mike Leach beating up on candy corn. Dude, I mean, what a perfect snack. You can be eating candy corn as you're doing your homework. Don't we have this discussion every week about let's do your homework,
Yeah.
right? I mean, hey, I'm a little bit of a chubby guy. I like candy corn. I don't know why everybody's dishing on candy corn at Halloween. But that was sort of my nugget for the day. It's like, hey, man, nothing wrong with candy corn. I mean, if I was younger, I would, that's all I'd ask for. Trick or treat, having candy corn. No one likes it. Put it in my bag.
Yeah, candy corn was a popular candy, but it's not anymore, man. I don't know why not. I eat it, but not like that, man. It's probably like a lot of sugar in there.
That it is. It's all like syrup and sugar. And then the other
Yeah.
thing is because I'm a nerd, and I've seen like T-shirts about nerds. I like those too.
Oh, the
Oh,
candy,
nerd
nerds
candy. I
candy.
have a hard time like nerds, man. I mean, everybody likes Reese peanut butter cups and stuff, but I like nerds because I'm a nerd too.
You're a sugar guy. I can see you like sugar. Sugar is your thing, man. I gotta stay away from the sugar, man. Sugar is it can be good, but man, sugar can be dangerous, man. Both those candies you mentioned are sugar, but yeah, I mean it's Halloween. It's that time of the year where the weather's changing. You can hear me sniffling a little bit. Probably hear it sound like I'm congested, but it's that time of the year where, I got to put the coats on, got to put the jackets on. This is fall transitioning into winter. So if you're out there, make sure you're taking your vitamins and your minerals, getting your sleep, getting your rest. We're coming up on daylight savings, I think, in a couple of weeks. So I think we go back. If we go back hour, yeah, I think we go back an
We
hour, right?
get
We
back an hour, I
fall.
believe, November 7th. I think it's next weekend.
Yeah. I think next weekend are coming up. Yeah, coming up here soon. We go back an hour or so. They said more an hour extra sleep, but I guess it don't matter. I mean, if you're not getting no sleep now, you're not gonna get no sleep when that comes. So I don't know why. So I get extra hours of sleep, but if you're not sleeping now, you're not gonna sleep then. So, but man, let's get into some breaking news or one of the videos that's going viral on the internet, coaches. I appreciate you sending me this article or this video. But I'll go ahead and let you take over, and I'll kind of let you have the floor, and then we'll chime in and discuss. Man, go ahead. It's all you, Doc.
So we were looking at an article about these coaches running drills, right? Is that where we're going with this one? And I want to make sure, man, we're talking about food, so I gotta change my gears here.
Transition.
And transition a little bit. And there was a video, I think it was on like TikTok or something like that. And this coach is getting reprimanded because these kids were doing stupid stuff and running and sort of like the old Oklahoma drill type kind of thing. So they're on the coach about these drills. And and here's the thing about it. I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I've coached junior high. I've been up to the NFL level. I mean, everywhere. And I'll tell you what, these guys, they all do stupid stuff. And that's something you have to understand, like, especially like in high school. I mean, if you want to see just craziness at its finest, coach freshmen. Those guys will do the craziest stuff. And to me on the video, it looks like the kids were just goofing around, being typical teenagers. So, now should the coach stopped it instead of laughed about it? Maybe. But I know, like, when I was younger, we all did dumb stuff. They all played around. They all did stupid things. The difference is that now everybody records everything. I came up through a generation where I did stupid stuff, but no one recorded it. Thank God.
Right. Yeah.
So, when this kid turns 50, he'd be like, oh yeah, man, I had this video and I can't believe someone found it out of the archives, But a lot of times it's just stuff with kids, you know, and they got the helmets on, they got the pads on, they're goofing around, flying around, they're young, they're athletic. I don't know. I think some of this stuff is just a little blown out of proportion. I mean, I think like coaches do have to be careful. I mean, like getting rid of the Oklahoma drill, really. I mean, you know, you live through it, but they find it unhealthy for some reason. I mean, I will say this, um, you know, if you talk about like concussion numbers and injuries, I'm not starting a great debate here. It's just with, if you look at the numbers, uh, girls soccer, I mean, they're losing concussions just like soccer does because they're getting hit in the head all the time with a ball. I mean, at least these kids have helmets on. I mean, there may not be anything between your ears at times. You might think that, but um, they're protected. You know, they get hit. They have pads. I mean, the pads are a lot thinner than what they used to be. I mean, if you look at like football cards or things, you know, these big thick thigh pads and all that, they don't wear any of that anymore. And like the knee pads are like, you know, it covers the cap itself. That's about it. But they're still covered and they still have protection on. And I don't know. To me, it was just sort of like, you know, okay, the coach should have stopped it, whatever. I don't know. What do you think, coach? I mean, I get on my soapbox here.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. Just going back, me re-looking at the article, so that the video was actually from 2019, and I believe a coach was recording it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, because you think about it, like, to be honest, I don't like a player wouldn't have his phone out at practice, or he wouldn't have his phone at practice. Period. So, me going back and remember watching the video, like a coach is actually recording this on his phone, right? So it's probably one of these young coaches that's like gotta post everything on social media so that, and that's how really this story gets out. And I'm not trying to say, well, it's the coach's fault the story got out or the video got leaked. It's just the fact of the matter is, coaches, man, gotta be careful. Gotta be careful with who you hire and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not trying to say, well, hey, you're trying to say, well, it's this coach's fault that I got. No, it's not really coach's fault I got, but you know, this coach probably should not have had his phone at practice anyway. But getting back to the point, that drill, I don't remember ever going through a drill like that coming up. Not that I can remember. Well, let me say this: if we did go through a drill like that, I wasn't listen. I was laying heads. I wasn't getting late. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a drill where, like, it's a toughness drill, right? To see how tough you are as a player. I think this was a school out in California, from which I'm seeing as well. Um, and it's a old, like I said, an old video. It's not like it was recent. So I hopefully those coaches have obviously made changes to how they're going about stuff. But a lot of times, you have coaches that they're trying to find a way to you know get things going in their program. They watch some drill, or a lot of times you have coaches that have just come up in a different era, trying to do stuff with, these kids, or these modern kids nowadays. And like you said, back when you were coming out, even when I was in, like, this stuff wasn't recorded, wasn't getting out, because a lot of stuff though, man, a lot of stuff could have been. Man, I think about my journey coming up to high school and middle school. Like, oh, some of the stuff they had us doing, it was crazy. We had 4 days in high school. We would practice. We would have training. This was during training camp. We would practice in the morning around 6. We would have another practice in the around lunchtime or right before lunch. We had a practice in the afternoon, and then we would have another practice at evening. Like, legit, like, yo, that's crazy, right? This year. Now, it wasn't full padded practices. We still had we had like a special teams. We had like a semi walkthrough, but I mean, in college football nowadays, they only do 2 days anymore. They just do one practice and that's it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
times have just changed. So, this is just a situation where coach has not, changed with the times because, when you do stuff like this, people are going to be up in arms because times have changed. The game has changed, and people are going to be around. So, it's one of those things where, yes, times have changed, but I also understand, this is a drill that you're trying to like make kids tough or whatever.
Right.
But it's just one of those things where times have changed, and I don't. That's pretty much it. I got what I got to see. Times have changed. Now, would I necessarily have my kids doing that? No, probably not.
No.
Just because the simple fact of it gets out, a kid gets hurt, then it's like, okay, how did the kid get hurt? And then
Oh yeah.
that's yeah. So that's my take on it, man. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but yeah, if I was me being at me going forth and saying, okay, hey, I want to be a coach, that's probably a drill that I would not do going forth or go at, or period. Not in this point. Maybe 10 years ago, I would say yeah, but recently, nah, not today.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like, like I was coaching in high school. We had 3 days. I know I was at Vermeil's first camp in '97. If you ever watched America's Game, they talk about these training camps. They
Yeah,
were rough. I mean, it was hot, the heat index. I mean, I was getting sick just handing out water. It was so
yeah,
hot.
yeah, yeah,
And they were out in pads like there wasn't a break. He had them out in pads from the time they got there to the time they left. And so now I think like the NFL is the same way. Like they have what, like one practice, maybe two at the most. A lot of
yeah.
them now have indoor facilities. I know like the Rams had theirs in St. Louis. I mean, they hardly ever went outside after that, because they played their games indoors. So they just stayed indoors.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, times have changed. A lot of things have changed. And I think now, like, because of the phones and things like that, people are really starting to see what's going on where, like in my day or your day,
Before,
they didn't
yeah,
know.
no, they had no idea.
Right. And then I think the other thing too,
And that was the case.
and I think the other thing too is you bring up a good point of not the fact that it was videoed, but who's the one videotaping? I mean, that's just something you have to ask
Yeah, yeah,
yourself. And it's like, dude, like some things you just don't want taped. Why would you tape something like that? But I'll tell you else real quick off, not off the left field, but here's the other thing too, is like I have coached in small country schools where they couldn't get coaches. And
mm,
some of them are like players down the road that the kids played that knew them, like, hey, I played you played against you like 2 years ago,
yeah.
because kid went to college, quit college, and wound up working somewhere and coaching football. And so, yeah, sometimes, like the coaching eternity is not like what people think it is, but that's another story later.
No, 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 no. Yeah. A lot of times, it's a kid that played. Man, it's tough to find coaches, man. It's tough to find coaches. So a lot of times you have a lot of dads that are, just stepping in where they can step in and are, master supervisors, as they say, man. But we got another topic of discussion, man. We're on this major topic of the business of college athletics. I think this might be like part 5, part 6. I don't know. It's one of the parts, but we want to get into what the NCAA deemed. And you sent me this story as well. I thought it was another great topic to go hand in hand with our major topic, or our major series of the business of college athletics. And it was that the NCAA planned on removing test scores. You said.
Yeah, I think that's what the article talked about. I'll look here, but yeah, getting rid of test scores because they didn't feel like they were fair.
And I think they have a somewhat of a good point. But as I'm looking over the article and kind of just thinking to myself, when you take away the test scores, the NCAA takes away the test scores. That goes back to the eligibility center, right? And just the fact of, you know, they require, GPA and a test score depending on the sliding scale to deem if you're eligible or not eligible. And obviously, your classes that you're taking coming to a point as well. But that's something that would also, like I said, it would the test score would help, right? It like you have a couple kids nowadays that have they have the GPA, they're taking on the right classes, but they can't get the test score they need to get into the school, right? So, or excuse me, they deem themselves a NCAA qualifier, right? The test score a lot of times has been, and you had a couple years, I would say about 15 years ago, there was a story with Derrick Rose, the now NBA. I think he might be retired or in the later years of his career, where he had somebody take his. It was alleged that he had somebody take his ACT or SAT score like test for him, and he was able to become eligible after that, right? So, I'm all for them, the NCAA taking it away. But I think at the end of the day, that's great if you're going Division 1, where a lot of times you'll probably more than likely be getting a full ride, right? But when we talk about the schools like the FCS, where a lot of kids may fall, and or the D2 level, you need that test score to help you get funding and aid from these colleges, right? So, NCAA eligibility center can decide to, take it away, but they're it's still on the school to say, okay, hey, well, we're not gonna make, you need aid, but we're not going to change our standards, right? So it still leaves the athlete, unless you're going Division 1 and you're going to a revenue generating sport. It's almost kind of pointless in my opinion. Do you have anything to add, or do you think anything in regards to that, Coach Hughes, in regards to just the way they're going about it? But as we discussed off camera, that that really doesn't necessarily change change the fact that these schools are not probably changing their rules.
The only thing I really got to say about it is the article was talking about equality and all that. I'm going to tell you something. I don't test well. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a good test taker. I'm just not. Like, if I read stuff, I can remember it. But I'm telling you one thing, man, give me a test that has fill in the blank, I'm done. And, I mean, I made honors and all that other stuff, but that's why I have a history degree. I have to take a lot of tests like that. I had to write papers. And I think as long as they have high GPA standards, I think a lot of them is 2.0 or something like that, which isn't very high.
Yeah.
But if they're going to get rid of the test, do it for the right reasons. Not because you got to be fair for one group over the other. Just do it for the right reasons. The fact of it is we're having a hard time with eligibility because they don't take a lot of tests well. I don't. I mean, I can get into stories about, my test taking abilities, and, if it's not multiple choice, I'm in trouble. So, I get it and I understand, but do it for the right reasons. There's a lot of good kids out there that a lot of times don't make the cut because they don't do well testing, and they have test anxiety, or in college, you might have an IEP for test anxiety, or they might have dyslexia or something like that. So, yeah, they say, well, we make accommodations and all that, but you either have it or you don't.
No, you bring up a fantastic point there, man. Just call it for what it is, right? Because they're saying what was the line they used? It was for racial,
Yeah,
some
I'll
of the
just read it
racial
off here
offense.
because you know how I am about this stuff. So this is ESPN. NCAA task force recommends removing minimum standardized test scores in effort to advance racial equality. Here's the thing: it's on ESPN,
Okay.
so it doesn't sound like I'm being a. To me, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard because, like, I know great people. Doesn't matter to me. They're just great people and they're smart and I don't know. I just leave it at that.
Yeah, man, they should just call it for what it is. People just don't test well. It has nothing to do with the race. I mean, there's people on all spectrums that don't necessarily test well, and but I think it goes back to the schools because now, being an athlete, as the point I mentioned earlier, unless you go to a Division I school and a generate a revenue generating sport, you know, you're getting full aid from the athletic program. But if you go to like a Ivy League school, FCS school, or just a non generating sport, that's in Division I or
Mhm.
obviously Division II, the academic money you get from scholarships based off your GPA and test scores is where a lot of times athletes get their quote unquote full scholarships, right? So, you know, it's going to be amazing to see, you what happens in the next couple years, when they decide to do that, and then to see if the schools decide to come alongside them, because that'll be huge, for a school to say, you know what, you don't need a test score to get in here, but what about the aid, right? What if a kid needs aid? And I know a lot of times that aid is coming from the academic piece, right? It's not a situation where it's all athletic, So it's gonna be good to see kind of what happens, man. But with that being said, man, just make sure you guys take the opportunity to, as Coach Hughes says, do your homework, right? Take care of your business in the classroom, making sure that you're doing everything you need to do in regards to um, getting to the next level, right? Start early, start fast. If you guys haven't went over to the website, head over to www.holmanathleticperformance.com today. Click the free scholarship information. Put your information into the system, and then head over to the Recruiting Academy website, and get information on the recruiting work. That work active worksheet book it's got some fantastic stuff in there, fantastic resources, um, that myself and Coach Hughes collaborated on and did over the summer. But it's a resource, right? Head over to Recruiting Academy and sign up for the platform. It's $7. $7. That's one, two, three, four, five, six, $7 per month for the subscription. Videos, access. This stuff will be on there. These podcasts that we've been doing the last couple of months will be on there. Take advantage of the opportunities, right? But they're there. They're there. The resources are there. It's really on, I know we got parents and athletes that listen to this of all sports. It's really on you guys. I seen a tweet maybe about 2 weeks ago or a week ago where a coach said, or there was a statement that said, this is from a college coach. He said, dear parent and athlete, it's on you for your recruitment, right? Which basically means, don't rely on your high school coach, right? You need your support of your high school coach, but don't rely on your high school coach to be like, all right, I'm gonna do all your recruiting stuff for you, right? That high school coach has a boatload of stuff to manage, right? He has to manage a team, has to manage fundraising, has to manage community. He has his own family on top of that. He or she has their own family on top of that. So for them to not, it'd be great if they do the extra stuff, right, for you and stuff like that. But all you need is them to be like, hey, when a coach calls, you're doing what you're supposed to do. They're gonna stand behind you and get that done. But man, at the end of the day, it's on you athletes, right? So that's why we decided to make the recruiting academy an affordable option for anybody, right? We subscribe to these different media platforms and stuff like that, but the recruiting academy was made for every athlete, both male and female, every parent, no matter what the background is. Take advantage of the opportunity, man. Coaches, you got any closing words?
Hey, the only thing I got to say, and I thought about this as you were talking, is that what makes this worth the $7 a month, the value of it is the fact that a lot of high school coaches do not have connections, especially like in your smaller schools. Like, I was fortunate enough to work at Ball State and get to know those guys, and they went on, did other things, and Coach Holman played at Ohio State. But hey, a lot of those guys are like from Division III colleges. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, if you want to go to Division I, a lot of times they don't know people, or they don't have connections that could help you get where you need to go or get you the training that you may need to go to get to that level. And so it's important just to even think about, $7 a month. I mean, as my little nephew would say, it's this many. So, I lose that much in my car, or, my nephew or somebody takes it, so, hey, the option's there.
That's the price. That's the price of a burger. Maybe 2 burgers at McDonald's. Two quarter pounders, $7. But like the value's there. The value's through the roof. The course should really be about $2,000 or $3,000, right? But we're offering at $7. I know what other people are charging, and they are highway robbing these people, right? I know you know the company I'm talking about, Jason.
Yeah.
I actually spoke to them. I actually had a conversation with them, just to kind of see what's going on, so like that. Our stuff is very, very similar, right? The only reason why everybody know about them is because they go hang out with all the they go to these free camps and they get people in like that, right? But listen, $7, you can't beat it. You can't beat it nowhere. Can't beat it nowhere. And here's a cool part about it, right? Here's the cool part about it. Once it's a family. Once you're in, you're not just a number or whatever it may be. Like there's a personal relationship that you get to have with the people that are running it, right? We're not gonna pass you off to, somebody else, right? And like Coach, you said, we're connected, right? Now every kid's not gonna go D1, but every kid aspires to go Division I, right? So it's just, getting in with the right people, right? But you have to do the work, right? Kid Tyler, hopefully we'll get Tyler on here at some point in time once his high school season's over. The kid took the program to the max, and now he's going to the University of Akron, right? Now, is every kid going to go to Akron? No. But it's a simple fact, like the system works, right? So follow the system. Listen, we'll see you guys next week. God bless.